My name is Michael Rose, Mike Rose. Right now I'm living in Charlestown and Catonsville. It's a retirement community.
Hi, I'm Joyce Rose, and I live in Charlestown.
My name is Jane Piche, Piche, and we live at Charlestown.
I'm Gordon Piche, Piche, and I live in St. Charles.
My favorite memory is when I met my wife at a dance in Baltimore, in East Baltimore. The only time I ever went to this dance and the only time she ever went to this dance, and we happened to be there together. And it took all of about a half hour to figure out that this was going to be it. I started graduate school right after that, but that summer I also started a business selling snowballs in the neighborhoods outside of Baltimore where nobody had air conditioning and they were all dying of heat in the 90-degree heat. And we made them on the back of a truck, sold them for a nickel and a dime, 10 cents for chocolate, and I earned all my college tuition, bought all the junker cars that I needed to drive back and forth to school that way, and I used that from the time I started college to the time I finished college when we got married. And that was a summer job where I worked about 90 hours a week between making flavors and selling snowballs. It was a pretty full schedule.
I graduated from nursing school in 1961. That was a frantic year. In September 6th of 1961, I graduated from nursing school. On September 9th, I was married. September 16th, we moved to DC. September 21st, I had my first nursing job. And I do have to say the ratio of nurse to patient was 1 to 42. It actually is quite unheard of. But those years, I have to say, as busy as they were, I have to say, among the happiest time of my life.
My memory is my life, which is just really an amazing thing. We moved here a year ago, and this was the 17th year since I married Gordon back in 1964. And my dad was in the Navy for 30 years. He was a submariner, and he was away during World War II on a submarine when I was born. And with my Navy family, moved from Philadelphia to North Carolina to Florida, California, Hawaii, all of that before I was in second grade. And then we lived in Bethesda for 7 years and then moved my senior year in high school. And, you know, each location had a blessing, and met Gordon when we moved to New Hampshire and Maine. And then we together have moved 17 times, and they're always wonderful people everywhere, and it's been a beautiful life.
I have tons of memories. One was when I was in high school as a senior. I played football, and my football coach recommended the Coast Guard Academy because Otto Graham was the coach. He was a very famous quarterback in the pros. So I took the test, and I got an appointment in November, and I threw it on my desk and never did anything with it. And in March, late March, one evening, the phone rang and I answered it, and the man on the other end said, "This is Otto Graham." And I about fell on the floor. And he said, "You have an appointment to come to the Coast Guard Academy and play football for me, and we haven't heard from you." And he said, "The least you can do is come down and visit us." So I went down to visit, and the basketball coach showed me all around everything at the academy. He says, "Let's go see Coach Graham over in his office." So we go to his office, and we go in, and he's looking down reading something, and the basketball coach says, Coach Graham, one of your guys is here, Pache. And he still didn't look up. He says, Pache, Pache. And he looked up and he says, where the heck's the rest of you anyway? Because he was looking, I was 6'1", 180 pounds, and he was looking for a 220 pounder to play the position I played. So anyway, I went home and I don't know what through my mind, but I turned down the other school that I was going to and went to the Coast Guard Academy and played football for Otto Graham. And that began a 34-year career.